Taking your artwork to markets to start selling for the very first time is kind of daunting. It's hard to know when you are ready to undertake that. Now, I do think that anyone can just kind of grab your goods and go to market, but I do think that there are a couple things to think about if you want to have a good positive first experience. Hi, my name is Morgan. I am a self-taught artist. I have been selling at markets for the last 5 years or so, and I have learned pretty much everything I know from trial and error. So I am here to share those things with you so that you do not have to go through that painful process like I did. Question number 1, do you have enough work and is it relatively cohesive? I had a really hard time filling my booth at first because I just didn't have that much work. And so my booth has looked very sparse in the past, and you can kind of hedge this by how you arrange your booth, but you are probably going to have 10 feet by 10 feet, which is a lot of space. And it just looks better to buyers if you have a full booth versus a really sparse, there's not very many things. It just shows that you are serious about what you do and you have lots of offerings for them to explore. Being cohesive, I've always struggled with this because I love to experiment and be expressive with my artwork. However, having a strong brand is relatively important, especially when you're at a market, someone's walking by your booth. They need to be able to see your booth and know exactly what your booth is about. I've kind of hedged this by working in collections. I think if you are doing your first art market and it's 3 months away, I would try and make a goal of doing 10 to 15 pieces that are a collection. Maybe you're doing 10 to 15 landscapes at sunset, or using a specific color palette, or kind of doing these like similar things. You can have your other work there as well, but at least have front and center those 10 to 15 collective pieces so that anyone walking by sees your booth, knows exactly what you're about, and will enter because they like what you're about. But also, if you don't have time to paint 10 to 15 new pieces for a market, maybe you are signing up for a market that's only in a couple weeks, I wouldn't stress this too hard. If you don't have enough work, redesign your booth, maybe bring the table to the front so that everything is just front and center and you just have all the extra space behind you. I just would not recommend having all of your grid walls up or whatever it is you're using with only like 1 to 2 pieces. Try and make your booth look as full as possible, or minimize the space to make your booth size smaller. Question number 2, are you ready to be vulnerable? Are you in a mental, emotional state where if someone comes up to you and makes a weird comment, it's gonna roll off your back and you're gonna be okay? Putting your work out there is an incredibly tender, sensitive, vulnerable thing, right? Like, it's something you have dedicated all this time and emotion to, and it's kind of a part of yourself. And putting it out for other people to critique is definitely really scary, but it is the nature of the game, and you have to be able to take those weird comments, the weird criticism, and just not worry about it. Because if you are confident in yourself, if you like what you are doing, you like your own work, that is all that matters. And if you are not confident in that yet, I would recommend mentally preparing before doing your first art market. And luckily, I think that's something that you can mentally work on, right? With positive affirmations and journaling or whatever. This is kind of like the more mental preparation, but I would just hate for you to go to your first market, have one weirdo say something stupid, and then have you not want to try again. Question number 3, do you have goods in a price point that match the market? There are different breeds of markets, and it's taken me a while to figure this out, but there are your farmers markets where price point honestly should be pretty low. People who go there are looking for a quick spend, pick up like a trinket here or there. They are not serious art collectors in my town. They are mostly college students even, so they don't have money to collect original art. I've hedged this by bringing prints, stickers, cards, these lower ticket items, and then I do bring any originals, maybe under $200, small things, or I will create small pieces of artwork specifically to be affordable so that these people with less money have options. But then you also have arts festivals where people actually go to collect original art. Those are things that I bring my bigger art pieces to, my framed 2 feet by 2 feet originals or bigger, right? because actual collectors do go to those. When you are doing your first market, sometimes it's hard to get into those arts festivals because you maybe don't have as much work, or you're not as established, or you don't have a website or whatever. Farmers markets are such easy entry, but you, like I said, have to have price points that match the crowd. I would recommend for your very first market, pricing your pieces relatively low. Now, don't undersell yourself. You have work that deserves to be paid for. But my first art market, I took all of the work I had, I priced it very affordably, not undervalued, not too cheap, but affordably. And I was actually able to sell lots of originals, and that was very affirming to me, and it gave me confidence for the next markets that I did, and it gave me experience with what people like, how to do an art market, what art I should be making for the future. It gave me so much market research and experience, and that in and of itself was so valuable. In regards to making prints, you do have to upfront that cost, so I would steer you away from ordering a ton of one single print and rather try and get a variety selection of prints, but only do maybe like 2 or 3 per painting. This again is market research. It will help you know what people are interested in buying, which specific images speak to people, and I would get them done relatively cheaply. So there's a variety of different prints you can get made. You can do giclée, you can just do laser prints. Laser prints are always going to be way cheaper, and that's what I started with. I just did laser prints, used a local print shop. They were not the best quality, but again, farmers market, people are just looking for quick buys, so it's okay. They're not fine art collectors yet. And question number 4, have you done market research into the actual market that you are planning on doing? Markets are not all created equal. I have had some really great markets and done over $1,000 days, and I have done markets where I didn't just not sell anything, I didn't see anybody there. And that is on the market directors, right? And it's kind of hard because we as artists have to upfront that cost. We are paying our market booths upfront, and it's kind of up to them on the honor system to provide a good experience and do good marketing and research where is it like a good location to have the market at. We need to make sure we are protecting ourselves by finding markets that are reputable, that have good marketing, and that like care about artists, right? They're not just caring about themselves and taking the money and running, but that care about providing a good experience for us. We are paying them to do that, right? So ways to know if your market is worth doing. Number 1, the best thing, actually go to the market. If it's a local farmers market, pop in on a day that they're doing it and see what it's like. See how many people are there. Talk to the people who are vending at that market and see how their experience is. Like, other people are really willing to share their experience with you, and that is very valuable information. Another thing you can do is go online and look at their social media pages. How much are they marketing ahead of time? Do they have any pictures or videos from the event showing a good sized crowd? Things like that. And then if you're not 100% sure which market to do first, find some artist friends on social media or in your area if you can, and ask them what markets they enjoy doing and which markets have been worth their time. That doesn't necessarily automatically mean that you will have that same experience, because a lot is dependent on the economy and what you're offering and your style and all of this stuff. But it will at least give you a place to start. So there you have it. Those are 4 things that you can kind of ask yourself to know whether or not you are truly ready to embark on selling your art at your very first art market. If you are not 100% on any of these things, that is okay. Like I said, I full sent it. That is totally fine. But these are things to keep in mind that I think will just help prepare you to have a good first experience. Thanks for watching, and we will hang out in our time.